The comment that Ebony made too about Tyra bringing her to the side and telling her that they were saying that she was ashy took me out. At least she didn't say it in front of everybody, but like, girl, like if you ashy, you ashy.
Friends and beauty, yeah, the vibe stay lit. Community strong, we legit, that's it. Stories, lessons, gems we share freely. Learn, laugh, glow, we lead and truly. It's the Friends and Beauty podcast with your best friend in beauty.
Hey, what's up? It's your best friend in beauty, Aquia Robinson. Welcome back to another episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast. I am so happy to have you here, and I hope you're listening to this episode in high spirits and good health. What can I say? There's still a lot going on in the world, a lot of things going on in the headlines, and we need to talk about it. The main reason I wanted to do this episode today was because I have been anticipating, like everybody else, this reality check America's Next Top Model documentary that came out. When I first saw the trailer for it, I was ready to log on right away and look at it, but it was like, dang, I gotta wait until February, but it came pretty quickly. So I do definitely want to give, majority of the time to share my thoughts on that. But one thing that I wanted to talk about really, really quick, just really, really quick, is me anticipating this dag on Real Housewives of Potomac reunion. Does anybody else watch Real Housewives of Potomac? Like, I am a Potomac stan. I also watch Atlanta. I watch Atlanta, Potomac, and more so recently, I've been getting into the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I love them. I had started on like maybe the season before last, and then something was like, go back to the beginning and watch from the beginning. So I feel like I'm on like season. I might be on season 3 now of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, but I have been anticipating the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion because, as you know, I used to work on the show. I used to work on the Real Housewives of Potomac with Ashley Darby. But it's just, I think it's because it's in my area. It's in Potomac. I'm from DC and everything. I know some of the people on the glam, so I could be like a little bit biased, but I always look forward to seeing like the reunion looks and like all of that stuff. And I never really talk about it. So I want to talk about like my favorite reunion looks. Like the looks came out like some weeks ago, but I was waiting to see how everything was, reading online and everything. So hands down, definitely gotta say that. Well, let me start from the I have like three favorite looks. So I would say number three, not that the look was bad, but I'm ranking them. I want to tell you my number one. Number three, I would say that I really liked Angel's glam only because it was different in the sense of like she did a bold lip, which is something that I don't normally see them doing on like the reunions or on the shows like that. Probably because of touch up. Hopefully they use like a lip where you wouldn't have to touch it up too often. But she definitely stood her glam look stood out to me because she had a bold lip, and I just love a good bold lip. Everybody else I felt like had a nude lip. So shout out to Angel's makeup artist for making her stand out in that way. Number two on my favorite glam is Stacey Rush. Stacey is a hoot. Like, it's just something very interesting and quirky about her. Even though she be lying like I don't know what, she be getting caught in her lies and all of that stuff on the show. But her glam, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to know who her makeup artist is now because Stacey was on Watch What Happens Live like some weeks ago, and her makeup was so good that I literally commented like in the on the post like, no, like I literally have to find who her makeup artist is because I don't recall ever seeing her look so good. And when I saw her on Watch What Happens Live, like the glam was just eating so bad that somebody like saw my comment and tagged the makeup artist. I was like, oh, I'm familiar with that person, Axel. I'm familiar with the makeup academy that he has. I don't know if it's in Maryland or Virginia, but I work at Bennett and he has his own makeup academy. So I followed him, commented. It was like, oh my God, this glam is so good. I had to find a makeup artist. Shout out to Axel for that glam. Like Stacey, The skin was skinning. The skin looks so good. She just looks, luscious. She looks very, very good. And then number one, my favorite glam and like just the whole everything, the glam, the hair, everything together was Wendy Osefo, hands down. Shout out to I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Is it Arika? Girl, you know I love you. Um, Shout out to her. I feel like I'm biased because I know these people, like, but the glam never like anytime she does Wendy's makeup, hands down eats every single time. Like Wendy's deep skin tone, and then it's also tricky. Like just being like having worked on the show in the past, I'm very I want to say forgiving, but I'm very understanding when it comes to lighting and everything like that. Like you can do somebody's makeup in the dressing room, take pictures, everything is matching, but something happens when they go out onto that set or in that production room and the lighting is different. Sometimes, the complexion be looking a little off, but Wendy was still looking like a little chocolate little Barbie. Like everybody looked good. Like it's very rare these days that you see bad glam. Like let's be clear, everybody on the cast looked phenomenal, but those were like my top three, and I was just like, "Arr," I was just waiting so long. They stretched out this reunion for at least like two, I feel like 2 or 3 weeks because other things happened. Like they put on Karen's special first, and then the Super Bowl came out. They didn't want to compete with the Super Bowl. So I feel like it was like at least 3 weeks that I was waiting for this reunion to come out. So hopefully that means that Atlanta is about to come back. I think Atlanta normally comes back on after um Potomac. So if you watch Atlanta, let me know if I should like do like glam reviews because one thing's for sure for Atlanta, Portia's glam, Portia's glam always eats down. Fun fact, y'all. Fun fact. Portia reached out to me years ago, DM'd me. I still have the DM'd me years ago to do her makeup, but then her sister had found another makeup artist and that makeup artist got the job. But Portia had reached out to me like personally. I was like really, really tickled. This is like years ago. This might be like 2016 or something like that. But yes, those are my favorite glam looks for the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion. So yeah, I look forward to seeing the rest of the reunion and getting the tea. And I just like looking at the ladies. They just, beautiful. Karen's makeup look good. The Grand Dame, everybody look good. But those are my top three. Now, another thing that I wanted to just touch on, I'm not going to go too deep into it. I just want to know your opinion about it. Is I saw maybe sometime last week my friend in beauty Milan, aka the Cosmo Scientist, she had posted a video on her she posted a video on her Instagram page saying that Peter Thomas Roth, who is, the skincare brand, Peter Thomas Roth was, I don't know, allegedly named. I don't know if he was named in the Epstein files or if he just was named as having um, affiliation with Epstein. And I thought it was really, really interesting. I don't know how deep I want to go into it, but when I was looking it up, and everything. It was basically saying like Allure has an article that I'll, probably link here on the screen or link it down below so you can read it. But Allure has an article that says calls rise for Peter Thomas Roth boycotts amid release of Epstein emails. And it says the newly published exchanges between the beauty founder and the convicted S offender have sparked outrage among creators and consumers each day since the Justice Department published 3.5 million new documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. On January 30th, we learned of yet another powerful man who was in contact with the convicted sex offender and people in his network. Late last week, the name Peter Thomas Roth surfaced, according to what appeared to be emails in the DOJ released. The skincare brown founder communicated with Epstein and his co-conspirator. Is it Ghislaine? I don't know that lady's name. Maxwell from 2004 to 2018. Now influencers and content creators are publicly disavowing Roth's brand and along with some everyday consumers calling for boycotts in light of this information. So it just goes on to basically say like, they exchanged many friendly emails. Roth even did like some skincare or sent some skincare products or something like that allegedly to the girls and stuff like that. So I don't know what to think about it. I kind of want to know what y'all think about it or just get your opinion. Because just because people are named in the Epstein files doesn't necessarily mean that they are implicated in doing any of the egregious things that he was doing. But it's also like this guilty by association thing. Like, I don't know what to think about it yet. To cancel somebody's brand for being affiliated, I don't know how much information I have about this yet. That's why I don't want to talk about it, but I just kind of want to know what you think about it because I feel like if we take this stance, as far as like I know this whole thing, you remember when Tesla, the whole thing with Tesla, people like, well, you shouldn't drive a Tesla because of Elon and all these other things. I feel like if we dig so deeply into founders and their morals and their like their moral compass, their ethics and like all these things, we will have very little products to use in our whole life. Not even just beauty products, just products in general. When it comes to our clothing, when it comes to the food we eat, when it comes to the places that we shop at. So I'm just curious to know like how far down the rabbit hole, if we're going to cancel Peter Thomas Roth, how deep down the rabbit hole are we willing to go to vet everything else in our life, because a lot of people are corrupt out here. So if we're going to use that same energy, I feel like you kind of have to do the same thing with every aspect of your life. So I just thought it was interesting to see a beauty founder named in this Epstein case. Allegedly or apparently, Epstein was like his chemistry teacher or something like that from high school, and they just maintained the relationship. There are people from my high school that definitely have maintained relationships with like some of the teachers up until now. Like I just had another reunion last year, and sometimes they be inviting the teachers. Me in particular, I don't keep in contact with none of them teachers, but there are people who keep in contact with their teachers because some of our teachers weren't that far apart in age from us. When like once you put it in the scope of things, you start to get older. You're like, oh, they was only like a few years older than me. So apparently, it used to be his teacher, and they kept in contact over the years. So I don't know. Would love to know what you think about that. So let's go ahead and talk about Reality Check, America's Next Top Model. I was so excited to see that they were coming out with this documentary because there has been so much buzz over the years from some of the girls, some of the ladies that were on the show about, just the treatment and just like their experience on the show, that just never imagined what I just never imagined that stuff was going on. America's Next Top Model started in 2003. I was still in high school. Okay, I was in like maybe 11th or 12th grade, depending on when in 2003. I was like 11th or 12th grader in 2003. So I remember very well enough, when America's Next Top Model came out, watching it with my mom and sister. Like it was definitely like a thing for us. I do want to say, just quick note, like I feel like Tyra has, I want to say aged, but Tyra has matured so well. Like I feel like she looks so good on that documentary. Like seeing like the old footage of her and then like her commenting, doing commentary now. I was like, oh, okay, Tyra. Like she's face card is still there, still valid, still looking good. But America's Next Top Model was such a big deal back in the day for me. Like this is even before I knew I was going to be in the beauty industry, but it was just something about, I remember the photo shoots in particular. It was just something about the creative process of seeing that, like behind the scenes of that world, that was just like so alluring at the time. So one thing I do want to say too, I was really tickled to see Kaya, our friend in beauty, Kaya. She has been on the podcast. I was really tickled to see Kaya like in the closer to like the beginning of episode 1 where Tyra sits down and she's getting her hair touched up. I saw you, girl. Shout out to Kaya because she does Tyra's hair. I do want to say too, I really, really enjoyed hearing the backstory of the hustle of getting America's Next Top Model onto the networks, like going to different networks, pitching, getting turned down, getting picked up by UPN. I'm like, hey, UPN, that is crazy. I remember UPN getting picked up by UPN. I really enjoyed hearing the backstory because, of course, when the outside looking in, I don't really ever think about how shows get on the air, and one can assume that because she is Tyra Banks, that she just had this idea, pitched it, and it got picked up, or she had this idea and it just landed just like that. But that wasn't the case. So I really enjoyed seeing that she had to do like some groundwork and convince people and hustle and all of that. On episode 1 2, they showed Ebony, who was on that first season, and it was really, really good to see her. Like, I don't know if she ever gonna see this. Hey, Ebony. But it was really, really good to see her because I do distinctly remember that first season and remember her on the show and what she represented and how, she was kind of portrayed and everything. She's looking good too. I was really, really happy to see the girls that they featured. And just to put things into perspective, like I had to look up once I like finished watching the documentary. I actually kind of watched it twice. I watched it one time just in full, and I kind of watched it like skim through it just to kind of make some notes of some things that I wanted to point out. But one thing that I had to look up was like, okay, how old is Tyra Banks? Because they always show how old the girls are. The girls are like 18, 21, like things like that. So at the time America's Next Top Model came out, Tyra was 30 years old. So I wanted to look up how old she was just to put some of the decision making into perspective, because at first I was about to start making some excuses for her and being like, well, she was like in her 20s and she would, but Tyra was 30 years old. And not to say, because it's a big, big misconception that you just got it all together when you turn 30. Okay. It's not true. So not to say that she had it all figured out at 30, but she was pretty significantly older than some of the girls. And some of the girls are coming in at 18. Like she really is like big sis. Not that she's just Tyra Banks, but she is like age wise, like more mature and more informed and, just has more information than some of these girls who were like literally just getting out of high school. So one thing, let me see which direction I want to talk about first, because it's just so many things that stood out to me that was just like I never thought about it like that when I was watching the show as a teenager, but looking at it now, it's just like, oh my god. So first things first, let's talk about these photo shoots, okay? The photo shoots that we just all grew to love, because they did do some pretty creative things, but then they also did some things that were like, I don't know. I can honestly say that at the time when I was looking at it, I don't remember feeling outraged about it. And I don't remember the public really feeling outraged about it like how they do now. But the photo shoot with changing the ethnicities, what in the world? Like watching that over again was like so like, girl, what, whose idea was this and who approved this? Changing these girls' ethnicities, having the white girls getting makeup to be black and getting this girl to look Asian and this one to be native. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, home, like the homeless photo shoot, and they were actually like posing with other homeless people. The photo shoot with the fatalities, like, oh, this one is cut open, or this one got shot in the head, like the horrible impacts of smoking. Like I remember all of these photo shoots, and never once at the time that I was watching it think like this is absolutely ridiculous. But even Tyra on the documentary, which I can appreciate, was like, that was dumb. Like she admits like that it was dumb. But even at that time, they probably didn't think that it was dumb. But hey, friends in beauty. If you're a professional makeup artist or beauty pro who is tired of juggling multiple tools to run your business, I got great news for you. Beauty Pro Funnels is here to simplify your life and take your business to the next level. Unlike other platforms like Wix, Squarespace, or Acuity,
Beauty Pro Funnels was created by a makeup artist for makeup artists. This is the world's first all in one software that helps you book clients, sell your products, and even launch courses all in one place. No need for separate subscriptions that drain your wallet or tools that don't speak your language as a beauty pro. With Beauty Pro Funnels, you're not just getting another booking tool. You're unlocking the ability to create multiple revenue streams. So, whether you're behind the chair or not, you're making money. Imagine accepting bookings, selling your beauty products, and offering courses all without the stress of managing separate systems. That could be a big headache. Let me break it down to you one more time. Your website, build it on Beauty Pro Funnels. Your portfolio, build it on Beauty Pro Funnels. Your booking site, build it on Beauty Pro Funnels. And your e-commerce site, host it in Beauty Pro Funnels. Want to offer beauty courses or digital products? You can sell them inside of Beauty Pro Funnels, and you'll be able to send invoices, digital contracts, newsletters, and do all of your marketing directly from your Beauty Pro Funnels account. It's mind blowing. Listen, you're going to save hundreds of dollars every single month by replacing over 10 platforms when you make the switch to Beauty Pro Funnels like Wix, Squarespace, Acuity, WordPress, Vagaro, Honeybooks, 17 Hats, Dubsado, MailChimp, Klaviyo, Kajabi, DocuSign, even Shopify. It's crazy. I know you got at least one of those. And here's the best part. Tayana and her team spent over a year building plug and play templates into your account for pretty much everything. So you never have to start from scratch at all. So all of your appointment confirmations, reminders, and payment reminders and stuff like that for your clients, they have already been written out for you. You can even gather reviews and referrals all on autopilot. You'll free up so many hours of time each week so you can focus on what you love, your artistry. Plus, with their mobile app, you can manage your entire business from the palm of your hand, send invoices, schedule appointments, and even take payments on the go. I believe in Beauty Pro Funnels so much that I recently moved the Friends of Beauty site to Beauty Pro Funnels, and I am loving it. It's a game changer because it's not just a platform. I swear it is like having your personal business assistant designed specifically for makeup artists and beauty pros like you. So here's the deal. If you want to see what all the hype is about, visit getbeautyprofunnels.com/friends to get a personalized tour and see how Beauty Pro Funnels can transform your business today. That's getbeautyprofunnels.com/friends because you deserve the best tool for your beauty business.
I remember, well, one would think at the time that like they're doing all of these different types of photo shoots because they did do like some beauty shoots and some editorial type stuff from what I remember. But one would think that like, oh, they're just creating like they're going to be really really well rounded. You know, they're going to be really well rounded. But now that I'm in the industry and I'm looking at it from the lens of like what modeling is and the type of modeling that they were, because there's so many different types of modeling, but the type of modeling that they were trying to do did not call for them to be doing a photo shoot with looking like a cadaver. Like it just didn't call for that, or a photo shoot to impact like looking, tooth decay. Like it didn't give that. So in hindsight, I'm like, yeah, that was dumb because I forgot who it was. I think it was I can't remember her name. Dang, the Latino girl. She mentioned like just not being able to use, I think it was her, one of them girls mentioned not being able to use the photos at all. Like once you leave America's Next Top Model, you can't even really use those pictures to go on a go see, or to submit to an agency, because that's not what an agency is even looking for. So now in hindsight, when I'm like as a makeup artist and I know the type of, you know, the things that agencies look for as far as beauty work, as far as editorial and stuff like that go, I'm like, yo, they really just wasted these girls' time for TV. Um, just just for entertainment purposes for us. It necessarily didn't benefit them in that regard to be doing, you know, photo shoots like that. Even Danielle mentioned like not being able to get work as a result. Is Danielle, and I cannot remember that other girl's name. As much as she's in the documentary, it's slipping me right now. I'm mad at that. But Danny and another young lady mentioned like not being able to get any work as a model because of the stain of being on reality TV. Um, and then the stain of being on reality TV as far as the narrative that was shaped around them, depending on who they were. So one girl in particular was like, I was seen as like not being confident in myself. So if I leave this show, who wants to work with me who's not confident? You know what I'm saying? Or if you're watching a girl on the show and she's being framed as difficult to work with, and then she goes out and tries to work with an agency, who wants to work with the girl who's difficult to work with? So a lot of them weren't able to get work, you know, at the top model, off of the top model name. And then the portfolio that they had wasn't even up to par to be able to do anything with those photos. So the photo shoots, outrageous. The makeovers, which was also the makeovers were always like a big, like it was always a favorite thing of mine because like who doesn't like a makeover, right? Who doesn't like a makeover? I feel like the makeovers to a certain extent were necessary because some of the girls did not have like a quote unquote model look. So getting a makeover, doing their hair over, doing a little different makeup or something like it automatically allowed us to see the vision or whatever as far as them, presenting as a model. But one of the things I was laughing at as far as I always felt like they always did like the bare minimum on those girls like Ebony. Like if you already had like a short haircut, like we just gonna clean it up. Like what that's not a makeover. Like just giving me a little shape up or something. Like I feel super special like the other girls like getting a complete makeover. They're gonna just like color their hair or something. They don't do nothing. But Ebony already had short hair and apparently she had like a piece or something like that. So Tyra's like, okay, we're gonna remove this piece. But not Ebony already having short hair and them giving her bald spots. Like she was like, Ebony was like, how do you mess up a Caesar? How do you mess up a Caesar? Why does Ebony have bald spots? Why are the ladies cackling and trying to figure out what to do over top of her head? Like, so it goes to show you, 2003, the industry was still, I mean, not still, the industry was like that in a way where they didn't have those qualified people on set to know what to do. Cause like, how do you mess up a haircut that's already short? Make it make sense. The comment that Ebony made too about Tyra bringing her to the side and telling her that they were saying that she was ashy took me out. It took me out because I'm like, okay, at least I was like, at least she pulled her to the side. Well, that's what it sounded like, that she pulled her to the side and let her know it was being said. At least she didn't say it in front of everybody. But like, girl, like if you ashy, you ashy. And then she starts going above and beyond and like using all these oils and like leaving the door handles greasy in the house, and the girls are complaining like Ebony's oils are everywhere. But she was so offended by the ashy comment, I guess because of the word ashy. But I'm just like somebody got to let you know, like put some moisturize that skin, baby girl, moisturize that skin. I thought that was so funny. She was like so taken aback by that. Joni, the thing with Joni's teeth in that makeover. Oh my God. I remember that episode and I remember feeling so bad for her. Like they pulled several of her teeth. She was in the dentist's office for hours on end. Her and Danielle went to go get dental procedures done, and Joni went to go get her snaggletooth pulled. But as a result of that, they pulled other teeth. But then people don't realize with like dental work, like it's just like a tricky thing because like now her bite is different. Like she can't bite down normally. It's but the aesthetic, they look good, but function wise is not up to par. They wanted Danielle to get her gap closed, and she was like, actually no, I like my gap. Which, fun fact, I love a gap. I mean, it's just something about a gap. Like I mean, I like a gap too. And then, on a later season, you see Tyra telling a white girl or whatever, like, oh, we actually want to open your gap up. And she's telling Danielle to close hers. And it was kind of messed up. I felt like that it was just like, if you were okay with yourself, they wanted to kind of like break that down and fight against it. It's such a, I don't know, it's such an interesting thing. Um, And they kind of like tell her or kind of allude to her like, if you don't close up your gap, then we're going to send you home. What does my gap have to do with me winning this competition? Like, what does my gap have to do with me, you know, taking a picture? And Tyra's like, you think you could be a cover girl with that gap in your mouth? All I got to see is easy, easy, beautiful cover girl. Okay, we talking about representation here. I feel like the reason why she set out to do the show was to show beauty. Okay, there are several beautiful people out here who have gap teeth or whatever. So yes, she can be a cover girl with a gap tooth in her mouth. It was just an interesting thing to me because I know Tyra set out to do this thing. So she says like to portray beauty a certain way, but it was like once she got into the judging room or with the girls, it was like she was still feeding into that standard of beauty that the beauty industry had. Like I never saw anything. It's so crazy because I never saw anything wrong with the makeovers, even with them, even with the teeth thing until recently when I'm like, well, dad, that is kind of messed up. I knew the thing with Danielle, like the thing with Danielle and her teeth, I knew that was messed up because she was actually okay with her teeth. Joni wanted to get her teeth fixed. So it's like, okay, if y'all are offering me this, y'all gonna pay for it and all this stuff, I'm gonna get my teeth fixed. But for somebody who didn't want to do it, I think that's wrong. Like, how can you like force somebody to change their appearance cosmetically? Like, we're not talking about some hair dye that's going to grow out or anything like that, or a haircut and my hair is going to grow back. Like, I remember seeing girls have meltdowns from like getting their hair cut and stuff like that on the show. But this girl just got like four teeth and some more pulled. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. The makeovers, like I said, one thing I want to point to is just a sign of the times. It was definitely a sign of the times. And that's what Tyra was basically mentioning too, was like, okay, this came out in 2003, starting in 2003, but when the pandemic happened, people started binging America's Next Top Model. Now we're looking at America's Next Top Model, something from the early 2000s that's just coming off of the 90s, something from the early 2000s. We're looking at it from a lens of 2026, and it is just like literally appalling. The world has changed so much, and it's something that I always observe and bring light to just in my regular life because I grew up in the 90s and the 2000s and everything. So it's just like the things that we were able to do and say and get away with back then is an absolute no in 2026. And that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing with this documentary. Like, just not being able to speak up for yourself back then. Like, there were several girls who had, challenges on set. Whereas, like, okay, if I speak up for myself, automatically now I'm getting sent home. If I speak up for myself, I'm getting seen as being pushed. I'm giving pushback, or even SA, the fact that we had to say SA, you know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't have to say SA back in the day. You just say what it was. Okay. Like, SA wasn't a big deal. It seemed like back then. I mean, we're we're getting to a place where people are starting to take it seriously as far as women being uncomfortable and all these things. The thing that Kenya mentioned with the young man that kept touching her when she didn't want him to touch her, and she's trying to think about, how to navigate this, professionally. She even tells them, that she's uncomfortable. And what do they do about it? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. But if that had happened today and she voiced those opinions and they did nothing about it, you're going viral. Okay, like you're getting slammed, you're going viral. Like, I don't even think social media wasn't out yet, because I remember getting on Facebook like my first year in college. So even Facebook wasn't even out yet. Like, these are like the very beginnings of social media. So just looking at everything, like the body shaming, the beauty standards. Because like I said, Tyra set out to do something different, but she still was trying to keep the girls conform to the beauty standards of the industry, when you set out to show the industry that it was other things different to offer. The body shaming was insane because none of those girls were plus size. I don't care what kind of plus size session they had, or people that they brought on. None of those girls in real life are plus size. So just shaming them, making them feel like they're fat. Like it was insane to look at. I'm like, fat where? Fat where? Like my stomach ain't been that flat since I was like 11 years old. Fat where? Like how you like how I just it's incredible to see. Even Ebony showing or mentioning, even showing, not even mentioning, showing her sexuality on the show as a lesbian woman. She was like, I thought it was something that Tyra would have pulled me to the side and said like, hey, are you comfortable? But she asked me on camera. Like stuff like that wasn't a thing back then, making sure somebody was okay with their, disclosing their sexual preference and like all these things. Like it was just so many things that are just a sign of the times. And I kind of feel like it's unfair in a sense to judge what they did back then from how we do things now, because the way that the understand that it is not right what they did, but at that time there was nothing really wrong with it. Like that's why I say it's a sign of the times, because the photo shoots that they were doing that were racially inappropriate, the sexual assault allegations, like the body shaming, the beauty standards, like none of that was even a conversation. You can't shame nobody for their body nowadays. Are you kidding me? Back in the day, you used to be able to joan on people or just say what you wanted and make a joke about it. You can't do that no more. You like it's kind of like we're those times are done unless unless you want to get canceled. I mean, you can, but also another thing that stood out to me was just the way that we understand reality TV to work, because we have more information now. It's very clear that they didn't understand the way that reality TV worked back then, because I feel like reality TV was just starting to get I was really trying to find out when the first reality show came out, and they bought us something from like way back in the day, like in the 40s. I'm not talking about that type of reality TV. I'm talking about like the real worlds and the road rules, and like what was like the first reality show that came out like in the 90s and stuff. Because I feel like these girls clearly did not know what they were in for as far as how reality TV goes. A lot of them talked about them just twisting the narrative, which is something that we all know reality TV does, as far as people say that it's scripted. And having worked on different shows, different reality TV is not scripted in the way of like we're gonna tell you what to say. It's scripted in the sense of like you have like this cast of people, and we're going to put them in scenarios without them knowing about it and seeing how they react. It's scripted in that way. So it's kind of like the same thing with Top Model. Like we're going to put these girls together and put them in certain situations and film their natural reactions to it, whatever it is. We're going to film them in their natural environment, however it goes down. Like, so a lot of them weren't expecting, I guess, the footage that was shown to be shown the way that it was shown. But I'm like, now that we know in 2026 how reality TV works, it doesn't surprise me how the show was edited. But I guess when you're signing up for something under a different pretense, you wouldn't expect it to be shown in that way. Like just like the personal conversations, the producers putting them against each other. I have seen this with my own eyes, y'all. I always tell people anytime people ask me about I used to work on like the Love and Hip Hop reunions and stuff like that back in the day. I haven't watched Love and Hip Hop in years. But anytime that the reunions are taped, the show is still on air. So a lot of times you might think that you're cool with somebody, but you don't know that in the last 3 episodes that haven't aired yet, they said some messed up stuff about you, right? So while you're at the reunion getting glammed up, they would come around at that time with like a DVD player. They probably got like a tablet or something they could show it on now. They would come around with a little DVD player and show certain cast members scenes from the episodes that were upcoming. So now I thought I was cool with homegirl, but now when I see her on the stage, it's up type of thing. So that's an example of like the producers putting you against each other. That's why you see those they used to be like so elevated at the reunions, is because like I thought we were cool, but now I just seen some footage you talking crap about me, and now I've been waiting to get my makeup done and get out on the stage so I can see you. So producers like that, telling the girls one thing in their confessionals to see how they're gonna react, and things like that. One thing that I'm glad that they mentioned as far as twisting the narrative is them choosing the wrong photos. There was a scene in there, I think they had to do like some kind of commercial or something like that. And the girl Jade, I remember Jade back in the day because Jade just used to be so like full of herself, in a good way. But and so confident. So I remember her, but I remember Jade saying something like, y'all chose the worst one. There was one that I did where I said the lines perfectly, like straight through, and then they asked some of the other girls, how many other, how many of you, think that we chose the wrong one or chose your worst one too. And it was like at least like four other girls that raised their hand. So it was girls that literally confirmed that like they were not choosing the best picture. Like there were other pictures in that photo shoot that were the best. So they're choosing these crazy looking pictures to show to us to make it look like the girls ain't, doing well. It's just, I mean, that's just the way reality TV works. Even Mr. J mentioned like it will be times where there might be a girl in particular that they're building a story around or whatever. And she may not be killing it at the photo shoot, but they'll let him know, like, we need her around for at least a couple more episodes to finish this story out. So give us something, right? So he's really like working with these girls, trying to get a good photo so that when they get to elimination, it's not so obvious that, they're keeping them around. Like, we need to at least have a good photo so we can like try to fight. It's so crazy. The foolery. The viral scene with Tiffany. That is another way I feel like of twisting the narrative because they never really go too deep into it. I feel like this is the most information I've seen about what happened with Tiffany, but that's a scene that, is like America's Next Top Model history. Just the way that Tyra exploded on her and everything. Like everybody knows about that. And I say that it's like twisting the narrative because it was always presented to us, the viewer, from the lens of like, oh, Tyra, the big sister. I didn't realize that they were still mentoring her. I remember her coming on one season and getting and not making it through because she had that fight, but I didn't realize that time in between her getting kicked off and coming back that they had been mentoring her. So Tyra felt a little bit more invested, I guess, in her success. So I could understand her being upset and seeing that the girl, seemed like she was getting defeated despite everything that, the sacrifices that Tyra had known that, people had made for her. And then, of course, mentoring her off camera. But apparently, that wasn't the whole scene that we saw. Apparently, Tyra also had some other unfavorable things to say to Tiffany that didn't land well. That also made other people in the room, uncomfortable as well. So it's always framed as, oh, she was, trying to help her, but there is what we didn't see that concerns me. And these girls are grown now. Like they were like in their 20s. So this is like 20 years ago. These girls are like grown women now. They're like in their 40s and everything, still tearing up and reflecting on some of these things. So the impact is definitely there. Um, oh my God, even the shade with Shandy after she cheated on her boyfriend. I remember that episode too, and it was so heartbreaking to see all the things that went on behind the scenes as far as them still filming her, and her calling the guy up and all of that stuff. I remember them framing it as, she had cheated on her boyfriend, but when you watch the documentary, it's framed as something else. So I won't go too deep into that, but even the shade with Tyra talking about cheating when they were sitting out at the table after Shandy had cheated on her boyfriend, and she just like casually, quote unquote, talking about cheating, even though she had gotten the word that Shandy was having sex with a guy in the shower. Production had already told her, so she tried to like And then also when they did the reunion and she brought the girls to the Tyra Banks show and she showed the video again of what Shandy went through. And she's like, "Oh, I noticed that you weren't watching." I used to watch the Tyra Banks show, so I remember this. I remember all these things, but to hear the backstories behind it, it's kind of sad and interesting. But just to know that Shandy was like, "Yeah, I had never watched that video. I told them that I didn't want to watch that video, and they still showed it in front of more people. Like, what are we doing here? This is exactly how people get beat up. This is how people get passionately. I watch a lot of true crime too. So this is exactly how people literally get stabbed up like 20 times for messing with people and their emotions like this. Like I literally told you that I didn't want nothing to do with this video. And here you go, still showing it and in front of a whole audience and more on TV again. Catch me outside. Cause like, what is that? That's crazy. So yeah. One thing that I did, it was a lot of things that I did not know that came to light. I did not know, it makes sense now, but I did not know that after elimination, they have to stay with production. Like they go to a hotel. So after they're eliminated, they go to a hotel and they stay with production until the show is finished filming. I did not know that. And it makes sense now because sometime on the seasons where they will go like overseas or something like that, and then they will bring like the girls back that were eliminated to like walk in the show type of thing. I always wondered like, dad, they flew those girls back from their hometown, like, dad, that's so dope. But it makes sense now that you know they stay with production. I was also wondering when I was watching because when you watch America's Next Top Model, you know that Miss J is just very opinionated, very talkative, and I was like literally wondering the whole time I was watching, like, why isn't Miss J talking that much? Like, why they not getting the commentary, the tea from Miss J? Come to find out, Miss J unfortunately had a stroke some years ago and lost mobility, lost the ability to speak. So he's just now over the last few years being able to speak, but it's not back to the way that he was originally. So wishing him a speedy recovery. I can't imagine how tough that is, even not to be able to walk. The walking diva, okay, teaching people how to walk and you can't walk. I cannot imagine how devastating that is. So sending definitely good vibes and speedy recovery to Miss J. I also didn't realize all of the drama around like Nigel, Miss J, Mr. J being fired. Like because I feel like I don't know where I stopped, but after a certain point I did stop watching America's Next Top Model. I know for sure that I did not watch. Did I? I don't think I watched. Who was the last person I saw win? I know I remember seeing Niall win. That was the guy who was deaf. But after Niall, I can't say that I like religiously watched America's Next Top Model. So I really did not even realize that Miss J, Mr. J, and Nigel had got cut from the show in that way. From the outside looking in, I don't know what I thought. I even didn't even realize that Tyra had got fired. And like I think I did realize or see that Rita Ora was hosting, but it never like clicked in my head like they fired Tyra. How y'all how you fire the person who pitched the show and is the face of the show? What did this contract look like? Like this is insane to me that she was even able to be replaced. But I think one of the craziest things towards the end that stood out to me that I thought was like, wow, was Tyra gatekeeping Danielle. Danielle won, I forgot what season that was or what cycle that was of America's Next Top Model. And she, talked about, you know, being treated poorly by the modeling agency, not getting any jobs, staying in the model house. She actually stayed in the model house with Chanel Iman. Chanel came back. Either Chanel or one of the other girls came back with the tea one day, like trying to figure out why she never got any jobs, and it came to find out it's because she was on America's Next Top Model as a reality star, and people. Danielle said people have a hard time like if I put her in my show, then it's going to become all about her being this reality star and not about the garments, not about the designer and things like that, which I can understand. I don't think that's something that they considered when doing the show though, because reality TV wasn't as prominent as it is now. So of course nowadays, if you are on a reality show, you're a big character or whatever, I could see how that could be a thing of like, oh, they're only coming to see the reality show star. They're not coming to see the designer, which I don't know if that's a bad thing because Danielle wasn't a bad person on the show. Like, so if you have somebody that's positive, that's bringing people to the show, like, I don't know. I don't know. So Danielle mentioned that Tyra had told her like she was aware of all of the things that she was going through basically, and she could have stepped in, but she didn't. Why not? Like, why not? What are your thoughts? I know you watched it. Let me know your thoughts on this reality check. I don't know if it was really a reality check though. Like, I really would have liked to have seen the positive side too, because it's so easy to focus on the negative, but I really would have liked to seen the positive side too in the girls who have been successful for top model, because not a whole bunch of them, but there are some people off the top of my head. The girl Kenya, and success is relative too, but the girl Kenya who was in the documentary, I follow her on Instagram and she's been doing her thing, presumably, I mean, from what I can see, like she's been doing her thing with training the next generation of models. You got Winnie Harlow. You got Mame IJ. Mame was on the Friends of Beauty podcast before. I said, okay, let me start over. You got, who would I to talk about? Oh, okay, I got Winnie. You got Kenya. You got Mame. You got Eva the Diva. Yaya. I feel like Takara is still out there doing her thing. There's another girl. I want to say her name is like Annalie from way back. They didn't show her in the documentary, but I do remember remember seeing her in like movies. Yaya is an actress too. Like Yaya gets regular work. That girl was an actress. So I would have liked to have seen the positives, because like not everybody's gonna make it. Like that's just what it is. Like, so, and the girls who were on there, none of them really said that they like, it was that terrible that they wouldn't do it again. It's just like there was definitely a lot of missteps and things that soured the experience, but it was still an experience for them. So I think they're still grateful for it. But I don't know. I feel like Tyra was well intentioned. Like she had good intentions for what she set out to do, but I feel like she ended up falling into the trap of what she didn't want to present anyway. When you're going to the network and they have their demands and they have what they want to see and they have who they want to work with and like all the things, it kind of starts to change your vision in a bit. So I feel like in the beginning, she had good intentions for how she wanted things to be, but she eventually fell into that trap of like, yeah, eventually fell into a trap of what she didn't want, as far as like body shaming people and showing different standards of beauty and like all the things. Can you really honestly say, like, now that I watched the show, I'm like, I know that models go through a lot, but is this really representative of like a real modeling experience? If you're a professional model, let me know. I just feel like a lot of it was just like so ridiculous. Like, are they really going through this? Is this real world? Because Tyra was also framing things as far as Danielle goes, trying to say like there were agents that were basically telling her like, oh, she's not going to work with this gap in her mouth. So if this is true, and Tyra is privy to this information, she's trying to, in her own way, as a 30-year-old woman or 30-something-year-old woman in her own way, trying to steer them in the way that she knows is going to work for them. But it didn't kind of work out like that. Oh man, I was really, really anticipating this. And I really feel like they could have gone deeper. They could have gone deeper with some of the stories. They could have gone deeper with some of the people that they talked to, and I feel like it was just kind of one sided. They could have shown like a brighter. They could have done one more episode. They only did 3 episodes. I feel like they could have done one more episode and put a bow on it and just kind of like bring it together with some positivity. But yeah, I don't know. I wanted to come and talk to y'all about it. So if you have watched Reality Check, the America's Next Top Model documentary, let me know in the comments what you thought about it. And let me know what you think about Tyra. I feel like before I go, I want to say this too, because I forgot to mention this. I feel like Tyra did a good job of, I feel like she did, accepting accountability. I don't know how much information she's privy to. She also tried to put some of the she tried to take some of the blame off of her and separate herself from the production side of things and what she deals with. But ultimately, it is her show, so a lot of the blame is just going to fall on her. Like like she's privy to everything that's going on, which I'm pretty sure that she's not. She can't control everything, so I do think that she did a good job of like acknowledging certain things. Like, yeah, that was ridiculous. So like, I've apologized to this person about that, or I talked, but it's also a part of me. I don't know her personally, so it's kind of hard to gauge. But it's also a part of me that feels like watching her responses feel very PR ish. Like her responses feel very like, let me say that again. Like let's do that again. Like type of thing. Let me say it like this. Like it just seems very like, I don't know. I could appreciate her apologizing and accepting responsibility, but as a part of it that doesn't feel genuine. And that's from somebody who it didn't even happen to. It's just the way that she responded to certain things. And like I said, I don't know her, so that might just be how she talks. I don't know. But it just felt like a little bit like it wasn't genuine. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna stop talking about it. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and let's chit chat because I love to go back and forth and engage. Let me know if you think it was a piece of crap, like you think that she did a terrible job apologizing. Let me know if it's anything that stood out to you in the documentary. I mean, so many different things, man. Oh my gosh, yeah. Anywho's, I'm gonna go ahead and stop running my mouth. All right, so I look forward to chit chatting with you in the comments. All right, make sure you subscribe, like this video, share with another friend in beauty so we can chit chat together. And I will talk to you next week in another episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Friends in Beauty podcast. Don't forget, sharing is caring. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with another friend in beauty. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Rate and leave a 5-star review so that other friends in beauty can find the show. Plus, we'd love to hear your feedback. Connect with us on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty, hashtag Friends in Beauty to join the conversation, and join our Friends in Beauty Facebook community to stay connected. Talk to you soon.